My name is Babar, and you're watching Babar Vlog from Europe. Today, I'm going to discuss about the OSI 7 layers concept and how it works, and tell you briefly about every layer in this lecture. And if you are interested to learn OSI 7 layers, so this is videos for you. And this is very essential if you want to become a network engineer, system engineer. You must know these all seven layers concept. These are very essential. So I'm going to start it from this next layer is, just give me a second. The physical layer. The physical layer is a physical structure. It's provide end-to-end port communication. So whenever the two systems are just communicate, so the physical layers provide end-to-end port communication. And it is responsible for the actual physical connection between two devices. It sends bits from one computer to another. So it's just convert into the binary, and binary is 0 and 1 because the computer understand binary language, which is 1 and 0, then 0 and 1, and digital signals into analog signals and vice versa, and transmit raw bits over the physical mediums. And what are the devices we use in the physical layer? The physical layer devices are hub, modem, and repeaters. The modem we used earlier in the past when there was no DSL and there was no wireless, nothing else. That's very old technology. Repeater is also enhance the network, and also the hub is a physical layer device that's very dumb. It's not like the switch, which we are going to discuss in the next. The next is the data link layers. It's just the concept of the frames, and it helps in mapping and casting. And in these layers, the bits are encoding and decoding in the frames, and it's responsible for establishing and terminating the connection between two physically connected devices. So the very important thing is the data link layer is the concept just comes. This divided into two sub layers. One is a LLC. LLCs kind of just provide the WAN communications like PPP, that protocols, frame relay, and other is the media access controller. That's another sublayer. That's very important. That's provide the MAC addresses, the physical addresses, the MAC addresses, which is about the 48 bits. So here is the deals with how to share links in the point-to-point or the broadcast process. It contains 48 bits. So the very important concept, the switch. The switch work at layer 2, because layer 2 switches, you have seen the Cisco switches, layer 2 switches, Juniper layer 2 switches, and other vendors as well. So I have seen most of the layer 2 switches of the Cisco and also the Juniper as well. So only the switches which can just learn the MAC addresses. So all your system, all your NSC card, your network network interface card having 48-bit address. And also which protocols we are talking about. The protocol is the PPP, the WAN, which I already mentioned, the frame relay, the ETM, and the fiber cable. The next is the network layers. Is these define the packets, and also it the router works at the network layer. So router defines the best path to reach the destination, and it's also determine the logical addresses. What kind of logical addresses? Class A, class B, class C, the private addresses, public addresses. So these are very important. If you see the IP addresses like 192.168.10.0, that is the logical address. These all addresses are the logical, and it works on the network layer. So this thing you should keep in mind. This is very, very important. And which protocols we are talking about here? Here is IP4, IP4, and IP6, ICMP. ICMP, it's kind of whenever you ping command. in the CMD, if you use the command prompt in the Windows, use ping something, ping any IP address. This is the ICMP protocol. IPsec protocol we use when we just make a tunnel and the VPN tunnels from site to site VPN communication and create the IPsec tunnel. So we use the IPsec and it works at the network layer. That's very important. ARP, address resolution protocol, it's also a very important protocol, works at the network layer. And MPLS is also, and RIP is also a very important routing protocol, and also the OSPF. And also, I'm going to add, these are all the routing protocols, and I'm going to mention these also routed protocol as well. The routed protocols such as the NetBIOS, Apple Talk, these are all routed protocol. And these are just, I'm discussed about the RIP and OSPF and EIGRP. These are the routing protocols. So the transport layers is the heart of the OSI model. This is the heart. This is the core of the model. So what it does end-to-end connection and also it transmits data using transmit protocols, including TCP and UDP. So as we know, the transmission control protocol is TCP is a reliable protocols and connection-oriented protocols, and also provide error checkings, and very, very important now. So TCP is slower, but if you talk about the UDP, UDP is not reliable, no error checking, it's very fast on the internet, whatever, just, and also it's not slow like a TCP, but TCP is more reliable. So we can trust TCP in the big network. And also the transport layers accepts data from session layers and break into the segments on the transmitting ends. The layers has three roles: segmentations, flow control, and error control. So transport layers is very important. And I just going to add one thing more. The BGP routing protocol, this is the path vector routing protocol, also work at the transport layer, and also the BGP uses the TCP protocol, not the UDP, because it's, and also BGPs, we use that routing protocol on the internet when two autonomous systems just communicate, when you're talking about the eBGP. So that's more, I don't want to explain it in this because we are talking about the OSIL layers. So go jump to the next one is the session layers: establish, manage, and termination sessions. So that's a very important. Whenever you just communicate from source and destination, how they communicate. Whenever just send the data, source send the data to the destination, the session first, it just start from the session ID. And then when they just initiate the data from source to destination, and everything's copying between, when it's the data is completed, everything has completed, then it's termination session. Or when everything is going, first is established, then the managed, then the termination session. That's very important. Synchronization data transfer with the checkpoints. It performs two function: authentication and authorization. Authentication means you have the correct username and the password. That just allow you, yes, this is the authentic person. It's allow an authorization, permission. You have, they authorize you to access what kind of your privileges. But that is also a very important in these two main functions. Now, the protocols are we using is a NetBIOS, RPCs, SAP, and Apple Talk, and a gateway. The next layer is the presentation layer. This is the syntax layer. And this is the SSL, SSH, FTP, MPEG, JPG, and GIF. That is, if you look, because the presentation layers, it shows present your data. Whatever the file is, a JPG file, whatever your file is, a GIF file, whatever the image, it shows this is the present, this is the data is belong, it's just the JPG file, it's is the FTP, this is SSH, is SL, it's just present the data. Either is encrypted or decrypted. and also formats the data to be represented to the application layer. It can be viewed as a translator tool for the network. And the protocols we use RPCs, the NetBIOS, SAP, AppleTalk, and Gateway as well. That's very important. The last and least, the application layers are very important layers. These end user layers as the user interface. Whatever you see in the browsers, whatever you see in the Windows, whatever you use the application like MS Office, that is also user interface. This is the end users layer. So serve as a windows for the user application process to access the network device. Whenever you see the network device, whenever you see any application, when you browse something, or if you're using some browsers like MS Explorer or Chrome or anything. So this works on the applications layer. And the resource sharing is the remote file access, remote printer access, direct to service, network management. So whatever you access the printer remotely, you sharing all your network devices you can access on that applications layer. That is very important. The protocol we're using HTTP, HTTPS, FTP, SMTP for the mails. POP is for just like for that's also for the mail as well, and also the telnet also we use, but it's not secure. And the POP, DNS, domain name servers, DHCP, dynamic host configuration protocol, SNMP, it's the monitoring tool. Whatever monitoring tool, I'm just going to define as SolarWind, and the others, Observium, and these kind of SMP we use to monitor the network. And whatever the alerts comes whenever you work as a network engineer, so you get to know about the alerts and warning signs. This is the monitoring tool that works at the application side. That's a very important. So this is all about the OSI 7 layers models, very essential. And I hope you enjoy my lecture and very helpful for you. If you have any questions, you can write it down. And if you like the video, and just give me the feedback. And also, don't forget to subscribe my YouTube channel, Baba Villa from Europe. Till then, I must say, have a nice day and have a nice weekend as well. And take care. Good night.